So, Cowboy Bebop. When I think of classy anime, there's only a handful of titles that come to mind, and within that small pile, Cowboy Bebop is always there. It's like the Mozart of anime. You may or may not have watched it, but we all know the chill-ass atmosphere the anime brings. It's just so classy. It's classy in its smooth animation, the chill vibes, the classy characters, Jet Black's perfectly symmetrical bald head, and everything else in between. That being said, the recently released Netflix live action, however, isn't as classy, and we'll get into that, but the point of this video is also to explain why I think that live action adaptations in general is almost impossible to make as well as the original work, whether it be an anime, cartoon, a book, tableau, whatever. Before that, 669% of you watching right now are not subscribed. So let's change that, shall we? And also turn on that bell thing to know when I upload next. You're gonna need it considering my upload schedule is very erratic and random, so please do that. Before we can actually talk about the live action and how much of a dumpster fire that it is, for those that have not watched Cowboy Bebop, either the live action or the anime, let me explain what Cowboy Bebop is actually about. I say me, but I'm just gonna read it off of Mal because I can. In the year 2071, humanity has colonized several of the planets and moons of the solar system, leaving the now uninhabitable surface of planet Earth behind. The Intersolar System Police attempt to keep peace in the galaxy, aided in part by outlaw bounty hunters referred to as cowboys. The ragtag team aboard the spaceship Bebop are two such individuals. Mellow and carefree Spike Spiegel is balanced by his boisterous, pragmatic partner, Jet Black, as the pair make a living chasing bounties and collecting rewards. There's more to that synopsis on Mal, but that's the gist of the show. It's essentially a space show about bounty hunters that are just cool. That's my personal synopsis if you wanted that. Anyway, the live action. It's not that good. It's rated 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, and comparatively the Death Note live action is at 38%, so only 10% lower than the Cowboy Bebop live action, and we all know how much of a dumpster fire the Death Note LV really was. But you know what? What others think doesn't bother me anyway. When others zag, I zig, so yeah, it has a bad rating, but so what? Let's just give this show the benefit of the doubt. Was what I thought, but that was a big mistake. The costumes looked a little off, but hey, I'm not experienced in set design or costume design, so I know less than a peanut about those things, so it didn't bother me that much. But what did bother me was the acting. Don't get me wrong, the acting wasn't career-ending or anything, but during the dialogue, it felt like the characters were indeed acting, which is obviously the opposite effect of what it was aiming to do. It was a very immersion-breaking experience, to say the least. It felt like I was watching a weird spin-off of Spy Kids, and if that's what their aim was, then they did a 10 out of 10 job. I will say though, John Cho, who was acting as Spike, considering how hard it is to portray a cool and calm character like Spike, did a fairly well job in my opinion, so fair enough to him, but everyone else though, they were terrible. To back up my point, just watch this scene and tell me that I am right.
A big fat thank you, and we'll cut you in on the bounty, huh?
I was thinking less along the lines of cash, more along the lines of dinner. Me, you, bottle of Chianti, 2 bottles if we're feeling dangerous.
Sounds to me like blackmail.
You're damn right it is, because Jet, you are black and you are male.
You can see that it was not a very high quality acting for the most part. However, I will not blame the actors for that, because the scriptwriters did one of the worst jobs in scriptwriting that I've seen all year, and considering I've taken a short hiatus from anime and have been watching a lot of movies, a lot of them being shitty movies, that is not a good thing. The script tried to stay very close and faithful to the anime with the kinds of phrases the characters would say, and it did not work at all. Anime is animated for a reason. Because it's animated, you can make characters say wacky, cheesy lines all day long. But when you try to put that into a live action script by making actual people say those cringy lines, it comes off very, unsurprisingly cringy. Some of the conversations that Spike had with Jet would never occur in real life. In an anime though, fair enough, go fucking wild, but in real life, no.
Stop it. Get some help.
The best way to describe the writing of the show is naive. You can tell what they were going for, but it's also apparent that what they went for was the wrong thing. Saying that, that's where everything fell short. The show was not terrible, but it was not good either. It was simply mediocre, and that's the scariest and worst description a show can fall under. When something is great, it obviously leaves an impression that'll make you remember that work for some time to come. Likewise, terribly done shows have the same effect. Dragon Ball Evolutions, for example, was one of the worst, absolute worst shows that I have ever watched, but it's also one that I'll remember for a long, long time. Cowboy Bebop, on the other hand, fell under a very gray category of mediocre, and when that happens, it's very easy to forget a show like that, and I don't think I'll remember Cowboy Bebop, the live action at least, after making this video. One thing I will say though is that the music was once again A1. As you might know, I'm not big on music in any show or series or anything, but since everything else was not good to say the least, the music actually stood out. Probably definitely because they got Yoko Kanno, who made the music for the OG Bebop, back for the live action, which was a great move from Netflix, so fair enough. Lastly, to leave on a more interesting note, I made this video because very soon we'll be getting the One Piece live action, which was obviously already announced. And of course, I'm not gonna slew it before it actually comes out, but from the little that I've seen with the casting and the fan, theories and stuff, it doesn't seem as though it's gonna be that major of a hit. I understand that Oda is a frontman of this project, so it's not gonna be hot garbage, but for me, needless to say, whether it's good or bad, it's gonna be interesting to see people's reactions when it actually comes out. Cause, in my opinion, since I'm not that big a One Piece fan, no matter if it's good or bad, it will cause a big storm in the anime/live action sphere, if you will. And I'm all for that. I'll definitely make a video when it comes out because I want to. Anyway, with that being said, subscribe, absolutely slap the shit out of that like button, eat a cookie, and bye.